Things are still heated in LA. This is a fourth day of protest now in the downtown parts of LA. There are hundreds of protesters, but they are almost matched by the now more than 500 US Marines that are on the streets. That's coupled with the National Guard. This as a massive political fight plays out between Gavin Newsom, the Governor of California, and of course Donald Trump. He called in the National Guard over the weekend without the request of Gavin Newsom. That's the first time any president has done so since the civil rights movement in 1965. Joining me live now is USC Immigration Clinic co-director Jean Reisz. Jean, thanks so much for your time. So we know why these protests are happening, but why are they flaring up now? And what is do these protesters have any legal grounds to stand on, or can Trump do this because he's president?
Well, what we're seeing is this kind of outsized federal government response to a few things. For one, the immigration raids that had started in Los Angeles and in Southern California was a real show of power regarding immigration officials in military gear, and people were being arrested at their workplaces. Immigration law is a civil law, so people present in the U.S. In violation of immigration law, it's not a crime. But definitely the tactics being used, the response then from protesters was escalated as well. There are lots of peaceful protests happening. There are also vandalism going on as well.
Yeah.
So the governor and local law enforcement have said that they have things under control and that President Trump's deployment of the National Guard was uncalled for, in violation of the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, and really served to just further escalate what's happening on the ground.
I mean, does Gavin Newsom have grounds to sue? What would he sue for?
My understanding, I haven't read the complaint, is a violation of a specific federal statute that states that the federal government can federalize the National Guard with the consent of the governor. And Trump did not have the consent of the governor. In addition, the Constitution limits the federal government's power when it comes to doing things like sending in the military or federalizing the National Guard. Yeah. And that this is President Trump has exceeded his authority given to him in the Constitution.
Right.
Yeah.
Jean, can you, there's a human element to this that I think we need to talk about a little bit more than we have in the last 4 days. And we're talking about families being torn apart. Donald Trump has made that calculation and that decision, even if there are illegal immigrant adults and they've had children in the United States with that birthright, they would still err on the side of deportation if it fits what they've described as their mandate. Is that happening frequently, more frequently than we think?
Well, we're seeing very aggressive actions taken that could be violating non-citizens' rights to due process, to unlawful arrests, for example. And the stakes are very high because, especially in Southern California, as in many places in the country, there are a lot of mixed status families, meaning family members who are both citizens and who are undocumented. And what's currently happening over these 4 days is targeting people at work who are not actively violating criminal laws, who are members of the community, and as you point out, parents, children. The motions are high, the stakes are high, and there really is a question about whether or not the government's conduct is violating certain constitutional rights that protect non-citizens in the U.S.
Jean, thanks so much for your time this morning. I've got a feeling these protests have a couple more days, if not weeks, to run here, because this has been some simmering tension with ICE going into these communities along the southern border. These light pictures there from LA. It is calm at the moment, but we know how quickly things can turn.